Hi guys, my name is Emma. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to make fig jam, so I want to share with you how I make it. It took me 6 years to realize that our figs do not change to purple. This year I finally took the time and looked up and realized that this variety changes from a dark green to a light green and yellow. So figs are very fragile actually. That's why you see the brown spot. The skin is really thin and it's really delicate. They get moldy really quickly. So keep in the fridge if you're not going to eat within that day or the next day. So we got plenty this year. The tree is full of figs, and I'm actually beating the critters to it, because in the past the critters just ate everything before I can get to it. So I'm very excited this year. We're able to enjoy fresh figs, and I'm able to can these into jam. I made one batch a few days ago, and it is really good. To make fig jam, you don't need commercial pectin, because they are naturally high in pectin already. The ingredients you need for this recipe are obviously figs. I'm using 3 cups of raw cane sugar, but white sugar should work, and lemon juice and a little bit of water. That's it. I'm using a pretty deep pot to cook the jam because it cooked for a long time and they will splatter a lot, so you might want to use something deep to keep it from splatter on your stove or on the floor. I'm just going to cut these in half and just put it into the pot. And this is what it looks like inside. So beautiful. It tastes so good. So I'm using 6 pounds of figs, but you definitely can make the batch smaller. I'm adding 1 cup of water and then 3 cups of sugar. Turn the heat on high. Mix this up and then bring it to a boil as well. If you kept the figs in the fridge, it will take a little bit longer to heat it up. While the jam is heating up, I'm prepping my jars and lids. I like to boil my jars to sterilize them, but there's other ways to prep your jars. Lids and rings are going in here, and then later I'm going to pour hot water over it. Stir this frequently to prevent from sticking on the bottom. You definitely don't want to have burnt taste in your jam. I should have thought this earlier. Like, I probably could have pureed this and then cook it. In a little bit I'm going to use immersion blender and blend this up, because the skin doesn't break down unless you have to cook it very long time, which I don't want to cook that long. I'm going to cook this until it reaches the gelling point. I'm going to show you how to test the gelling stage. So I'm going to put a plate in the fridge to chill it. Using a deep pot is so helpful. Like, I don't have to worry about it overflowing or splattering all over the counter and the floor, because it gets quite sticky. So if you have a deep pot, use that. Alright, since it's boiling, I'm going to reduce the heat so it can simmer for a while. I'm going to remove this off the stove and use an immersion blender to puree this up. So be careful if you do this because it's hot. So don't get yourself burned. The next time I probably would puree this before I cook it. I'm bringing this back to a boil. I want this to cook down to be thick enough, like a soft spread. As you can see, the color is not beautiful and the smell is not that great either. I mean, it's not horrible, but it definitely doesn't have that fruity smell like when you're making strawberry jam or peach jam or something. Yeah, but it tastes really good. Alright, it is boiling. I'm going to reduce heat to medium-high, and then I'm going to let it keep boiling like this and stir it frequently to prevent sticking or burning. I'm going to let this boil rapidly to reach the gelling point. You definitely can cook on lower temperature if you want. I have it on medium-high. The lower temperature you have, the longer it will cook down. Make sure to stir this frequently so it doesn't get sticky or burn down the bottom. The canning book actually calls for 6 cups of sugar, but since I put only 3, that means I'm getting less jam than what the book says. It's still quite sweet. You definitely can still use full amount of sugar, the full 6 cups, but it will be very sweet. But you definitely get more jam. You see, it looks pretty thick. It looks thicker and it has reduced quite a bit. I'm going to show you how I do gelling test. So this is the plate that I put in the fridge. Now I'm going to get a little bit of jam and put it on here. I'm putting this plate back in the fridge for the jam to cool down to room temperature. While the jam is in the fridge, I'm continuing to cook this, just in case it's not quite ready. Even with this deep pot, the jam's still splattering out a little bit. So if you can use a deep pot, go for it. So the jam is like that. It's thick, but not as thick as I would like. But I am going to add the lemon juice and see if that will speed up the gel stage. So I'm going to add lemon juice to this, 1/4 cup lemon juice. So lemon juice not only enhance the flavor, but it's also help activate the pectin in the figs and also help with thickening process as well. So don't leave out your lemon juice. And it also help protect your jam from growing bacteria. So don't leave out your lemon juice. Alright, since I added lemon juice, I'm gonna let it cook for 1 more minute on boil, and then I'm going to test for the gel stage again. I put the plate back in the fridge, by the way. Alright, on the same plate, I'm putting jam in this pot, and I'm putting this back in the fridge. Alright, let's see. Definitely a little thicker than this one. So I'm happy with this consistency, but if you rather have it thicker, then cook it longer and retest it again. So I'm going ahead and can it. I'm getting the jars out, and I'm also putting the hot water in this pot right here. I'm going to completely cover the lids with this hot water. Alright, I'm going to fill each jar up and leave about 1 inch of headspace. All the jars are filled. I got 11 half pints. Dip the rag in the hot water and just wipe around the rim, just to make sure there's no residue, no jam residue on it, because you want your jar to seal completely. You don't want anything to hinder it from sealing properly. Carefully get a ringing lid out and then put on your jar. Alright, they are ready to go in the hot water bath pot. They are under about 1 inch of water. Bringing this to a boil and then let it boil for 15 minutes. It's boiling, so I'm going to let this boil for 15 minutes. If you need to adjust the heat a little bit, do that so it doesn't boil too hard. The timer is up, so I'm going to turn off the heat and let this calm down. Let it stop boiling and let it sit in the water about 5-10 minutes before removing out from the hot water. They are ready to be taken out. They're going to cool down here on this cooling rack with a towel over it. If you hear popping sound, it's normal. It's a part of it's normal. That's the part of the sealing process. Alright, they are out. Now I'm going to leave them alone and let them sit and cool down here until tomorrow. So don't touch it. Even if you see the lip ring is loosening up, just leave it. That's normal. So that way the jam can just settle down and set.